Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today, I'm going to share with you guys yet another Invicta watch. And this one's pretty exciting. This is one of my favorite Invictas. It's not the Grand Octane. It is the biggest watch that Invicta makes to date. This one here, I'm sure if you guys have been watching me for a while, you guys know exactly what it is. This is what I call the Generation 3 Sea Hunter. It's actually listed as Generation 2. I call it the 3, and I've touched on this before in a few other videos because their Sea Hunters had two different versions before this came out. Had your standard version, which is very similar, minus the crown protector, minus this awesome improved bezel, which I think is just a win-win. I have one of the older Sea Hunters with the rubber ring around it. I definitely don't like it anywhere near as much as I like the new improved upon design. And having that crown protector really just adds a lot of size to the watch. Now this one here, you'll notice, does not have function pushers, and that's because this is the automatic version, which I definitely wish that I had a couple of these in my collection as opposed to my non-automatic or my quartz Sea Hunters. You do lose a little bit of size without having those function pushers. It definitely, it would have been nice to, and I'm not going to say that I'd recommend having fake function pushers on there, but maybe an added design element on this one might have improved it just a little bit, but still, nonetheless, a beautiful, big, bold, huge timepiece. The biggest one that Invicta makes. With this bezel on, this was just a super improvement on this watch. The old one I just thought with the rubber ring just kind of cheapened the watch. The only one that I think looks really good with that one is the all black version, which it just kind of blends into the bezel, but just a super improvement. It really made the watch a lot more popular than it was. Naturally, you have the exhibition window in the back, and you still have that furnace blue propeller, which is definitely a signature. What am I trying to say? It's definitely a signature addition. I'm screwing that up, but it's on any one of the Sea Hunters. They all have that furnace blue propeller. I love when Invicta does something like that when they're going to have an exhibition window in the back, because a lot of times the quartz movements with an exhibition, it's cool that it's on there, but you really don't see much on there. It's nice that they added a decorative piece. Not a lot of their watches do that. The Noma 5 is one that does. Some of the abalone versions have the abalone on there, so I love the fact they did that on this watch. And beneath that, you can kind of see, hopefully, not really well by the video, that Seiko NH35 automatic movement, which is just a workhorse movement as it's described by a lot of different forums and folks who are into horology. It's just a time-tested, good quality movement. Is it going to be the most accurate movement on Earth? No, but as I've always said, for me, I have so many watches that these watches lose their charge and they have to be reset. And even the quartz versions, I pull the crown to save that 70% of battery power. So not an issue for me, still a great movement. I've had this movement in a lot of different watches for well over 5 years. No issues, no hiccups, no nothing. It's great. As you can see, this one here is done with the abalone, a blue abalone, which is absolutely stunning. I love the way abalone looks. It just has a sparkle effect to it that you just don't get with a regular face. My first abalone was the Grand Octane. I love that watch in the natural green abalone, although the color combination that they're coming out with now, this has kind of a blue and aqua, very ocean looking, if that's kind of the best word I can use to describe it. Unidirectional rotating bezel, super tight, no wobble, for you guys who feel like that there's a real difference in the bezel on Invicta versus higher end luxury brands. I can tell you there's not. And what's really cool about this one here is a diamond edition as well. So on your 12 o'clock, your 6 o'clock, and of course on your, what was that, the 3 o'clock, and then the 9 o'clock, you have 3 diamonds on those indices. So really a nice touch compared to your standard versions like I have. Flip down crown protector, of course, non-screw down crown on this. I know that's something they changed on a lot of their newer models just to keep the price point down. I did leave some of the plastic on this because this is on loan by Bulldog Enterprise. If you want to see what this watch looks like, I have the quartz version of this watch reviewed without any of the plastic, but I've been trying to keep a little bit of the plastic on because these do go back to Bulldog and they are available on his eBay listing. So if you haven't dealt with an eBay seller before, I definitely recommend you click the link in the description. Check him out if you're interested in getting this watch. With Invicta, you're going to see a lot of different price points. Sometimes you're going to have the yellow tag event, which is always a link in description. Other times you're going to have versions like this, which you just can't find anymore, and you're going to get them through guys like Bulldog or some of those secondary sellers that you're going to see, or those smaller sellers that you'll see on eBay. And when I say smaller, I just mean smaller as opposed to like big big stores like Home Shopping Networks and of course Invicta stores. They're smaller sellers, so you're going to find watches you may not find available on those sites anymore. That's about it really, guys. This one here again, 58 millimeters at the, and you guys who've been watching me for a while know these are 58 millimeters at the bezel, and taking the crown and function pushers on this one, just the crown and crown protector into consideration, you're out 73 millimeters. Mirror polishing down the center of the band, again that blue, beautiful blue abalone, automatic movement. You never have to worry about opening the case back, unless of course something fails, which I don't anticipate it does. I believe there's 24 jewels on the Seiko NH35. I should know that, I have so many of them, but roughly 24 jewels, 660 feet of water resistance, and again, those gemstones on here are actual diamonds. They are very, very small, but nonetheless, they are a diamond. I think it's a nice addition to the piece. So let's get a couple more close-ups here. You see that beautiful donut-shaped case. You know, and with that crown, some folks are a little disappointed that on a lot of their newer Sea Hunters, they're not making, even the Grand Octanes, they're not making the crown and function pushers screw down. Again, you do lose some water resistance on that, but you still have plenty of 660 feet of water resistance, or 20 ATMs, 200 meters. That's still a lot of water resistance. And for me, I never risk it. You know, I know they call these dive watches, but I don't consider these watches true, you know, tool watches. They're made for enjoyment. They're made for collecting. They're made as fashion pieces, styling pieces, but they are absolutely wonderful watches. And of course, the diamonds on these are actually certified by Invicta to be real diamonds. Just an amazing piece. Definitely one I wish I had in my collection. I think it's awesome. And again, anytime there's an automatic movement in a watch this size, it's great that they're integrating the, you know, I'm not sure how they do it, but it's great that they're integrating the automatic movements, those inexpensive Seiko movements, which are fantastic, into watches for this price point. So speaking about price point, let's talk about that. You're looking at shipped to your door through Bulldog, $359.99. For an automatic Sea Hunter 3, I mean, I paid, for most of my Sea Hunters, I paid $250 to $300 for. And I tell you that this is a fantastic deal. If this was in your standard, and I like the abalone, but if this was a red abalone, I'd probably end up keeping this one or trying to sell my all gold quartz version, because I just like having the automatic that much. And, you know, I love abalone too. So, there was a deal, guys, recently on a automatic, same watch in the two-tone. I believe it had the blue abalone as well, through Invicta stores, $138 shipped. I mean, unreal deals. If you haven't checked out my links, find me on Facebook group, Fat Cat Call, C-O-L-L. Friend request me. I'm posting links on there daily whenever they're putting up good deals, so you guys can take advantage of them, because they don't last long. You have wholesalers or retailers buying them up, and sometimes I'll post a link, guys will get home, next thing they try to buy it, and they're not available. And there's been some deals on there. There's some on there right now I want to get, but you know, I got other priorities sometimes. So just absolutely amazing. So I know you guys have seen this one on the wrist before. This is unsized, but check out my other video of this watch sized on my wrist. But to give you an idea what it's going to look like in a guy my size, my height, and my weight, I'm 5'7.5". I weigh about 170 pounds, and I have this 7-inch wrist. So this is, if you're looking for the biggest Invicta watch that they make, one of the biggest watches you're going to find in the world. I mean, that's the world, guys. I mean, there's, now I know some of you come back and be like, that's not the biggest watch. I understand there are watches that are bigger, but they're very rare pieces, and they're very, very expensive. I mean, you're looking at a couple $100,000, some of the ones that people have educated me on, which I've seen before. Some of your Diesel watches, Diesel did make a larger one. It was like 73 millimeters at the bezel years ago, but to me it was a ripoff. I mean, $1,000. The quality of something like this is just light years ahead of a Diesel watch. I mean, there's no comparison. It's just amazing what you get for your money with Invicta. 23 millimeters in case thickness. This is a beast. If you are looking for the biggest watch Invicta makes, and you're a guy who likes these huge timepieces, you need to have this in your collection. It is a massive, massive watch. Now, one thing I don't recommend, because there are people out there who, you know, tend to might be a little more sensitive than others, and maybe you know, aren't used to wearing anything like this. If you're new to Invicta and you've never worn, oh God, it's beautiful. That blue face really pops. I love it. I love it. If it was red, I'd have to, because you guys know I like the gold and red. Very hard to find gold and red. All right, so here's the thing. If you're a guy who likes big watches, you know, and you've worn large watches like even like your Diesel Big Daddies, those are big watches too, but they're very, very lightweight. When you wear a watch like this is a heavy watch. You're looking at over a pound. And I'll tell you, if you're not used to wearing watches like this, it might be a little much for you. So I recommend if you're new to Invicta and you're like, hey, I want to get a big watch, but I'm just not sure about it, start off with something in the 50 millimeter range. There's lots of really great watches Invicta makes, plenty of them in the 47 to 50 millimeter range that are big timepieces, still heavy, but you kind of got to work up to stuff like this. I don't really necessarily know. Now my personality has always been that I like stuff like this, so I probably would have been okay just getting it from the get-go, but I can tell you, as a guy who always wears this watch on his left, when I go ahead and put this on my right, it's very difficult to actually, you can definitely feel it. I'm so used to it on this side, I don't even notice it anymore, but on this side, it's definitely something you're not used to. You definitely feel the weight, the extra pound on your wrist. So, now you're gonna get sore from it? No, you're not. But just keep that in mind. Not everybody's used to wearing stuff like this, and some folks got to kind of work up to it. So again, everybody's different. That's just my 2 cents. I hate to see you guys get excited about buying something and then get it and be like, too big, send it back, and then you never try the brand again. So keep that in mind. Definitely check out the link to this bad boy in the description. I will be reviewing this one as well in the, I believe it has a regular standard abalone face. It is an automatic in the Black Combat Edition as well. So stay tuned for that. Guys, if you like the content, do subscribe to the channel. Over almost 13,100 subscribers. Seems to be kind of snowballing now. So I'm looking forward to more growth in the future. I look forward to working with more companies and getting a lot more cool watches. I'm trying to work with a few other eBay sellers. I'm going to get you different stuff to see. I'm going to try to get my hands on also some diamond editions, because there's not a lot of diamond editions on YouTube, and sometimes sellers are a little hesitant to send that kind of stuff because they're more expensive. But guys, I want to try to get my hands on more stuff. And you guys, if you like the content, subscribe again, click the bell to be notified anytime I upload that new video. Drop a comment, let me know what you think of this timepiece. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. And you guys have a wonderful weekend and take care.